Today was the introduction, the official press conference for Bryson Graham, the new Bulls executive basketball operations. How did it go? We'll talk about it.
Get the lowdown on one of the most iconic basketball teams in the world. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
What is going on, Bulls Nations? Today officially introduced our new EVP of basketball operations, Bryson Graham, the guy who's going to call the shots for the Chicago Bulls. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't see the guy as a candidate at first. All I'm hearing about is Matt Lloyd and, the big guys, Masai Ujiri and the guy from Golden State. Forgot his name, but, you know who I'm talking about. Those are the big names. But the more I hear about Bryson, the more I like him. And this press conference just solidifies that. The guy, there's something about working from the bottom. I didn't know he was an intern to begin with, carrying bags and all that. That is something respectable. That is somebody that I could respect. Like coming from the bottom, worked his way up. And now he's in the position that he's in at a tender age, a young age of 39 years old. He earned every single bit of it. As far as Michael, man, it was so refreshing to watch. The opening statement was he needed to apologize to the Bulls fans. And I appreciated that. The transparency, like just talking close to his chest. There always this notion, and it is true, that they are cheap, they control everything. But this press conference, Michael was, like a perfect example was they were talking about hiring a coach, and Bryson said, hey, we're going to sit down. Me and Michael and the team are going to select a coach. We're going to talk about it. And then Michael was like, hey, I hired you. Now you're going to have to hire the coach. And I love to hear that, because there was this notion before that the ownership is always, kind of like in the business of the basketball operations, like who to hire, who's gonna stay, who's gonna go. Mike, it was asked that, and sometimes that is bad, because I don't know if AK doesn't have the full capacity of running the team. I don't necessarily disagree with all of that, but I think they got some decisions there as well. But there's no doubt that the Reinsdorf has a hand on every decision. Well, maybe not every, but most of the decision. But it feels now that, well, I hope that is not the case for Bryson Graham, where let him go to work, because he looks like a brilliant basketball mind, and let him do his thing. That's my point here, is that, you hired a guy. Let him spread his wings, put his imprint, and if he fails, then he fails. Then you replace him. But I love what I heard from Michael Reinsdorf all throughout the press conference. He was asked about, like the finances, and he was forthcoming. It was like, we don't mind paying the luxury tax, but I don't want to pay luxury tax for a team that doesn't make the playoffs. And that just makes perfect sense. Why would you do that? Like the teams who want to play luxury tax are in the running for, to be a contender. The Bulls were never close to being contender. Maybe the only time that was half a season of being a contender was the first year of AK, like up until January. But that's it, But here, from what I heard and how Bryson Graham talked, it feels like they're going to take it as a process, meaning no shortcuts. Because let's be honest, DeMar DeRozan was a shortcut. We never expected DeMar DeRozan. I think we were all on board with the Vucevic back in the day. It never worked out, and then they doubled down by getting DeMar DeRozan, which is, it was fun basketball. I'm not going to lie. I love watching DeMar DeRozan when he was playing with the Bulls. But it got it stuck in the middle. And, with Bryson's resume with both the Pelicans and the Atlanta Hawks, I don't know how much hand he does have with those trades and signings, but Atlanta Hawks went to the 6th seed. So it wasn't, and without a clear-cut number one, I hope what he does here, he brings sort of his magic, meaning the scouting, drafting players. We all know his resume in the Pelicans. He said he does have a specific type of player. I think the acronym was slept, like the size, length. He mentioned something physicality, and then something else. But the type of players, the Trey Murphy Jr. Those are the Herb Jones, the lengthy defensive-minded guys that can cultivate their own shots on offense as well. We have a lot of one-way player, and it's time that we kind of fill those gaps with two-way players. You can see the playoffs now. Defense is not a dying art. The game slows down in the playoffs, and I would love for the Bulls to have some of that, moving forward. Because at the end of the day, defense wins championships. Even Oklahoma City, as good as they are, they're pretty good defensively. And I want to see that with the Bulls. Just no shortcuts. There's always this notion, and they are true, that the Bulls just wanted to sell tickets. And by that, you're going to compromise the future to sell tickets now. Meaning it's okay to be, in the 9th, 10th, 11th, they give you hope, and then they sell you this hope by, signing mediocre guys. I don't mind signing guys, but they need to be in the timeline of what we're trying to build. That means Tari Eason, Peyton Watson, guys like that. Walker Kessler. I would hate for the Bulls to go after somebody, like out of the field like AD, and his $60 million salary. That's like selling tickets. So I want to see them build this consistently. I want to build this the right way, and I hope that happens. I hope the draft hits, because we do have 2 first-rounders. And Bryson has proven that he doesn't need to be in the first round. I mean, in the top 3 picks to hit, because look at Trey Murphy. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this new chapter of the Bulls, this new blood. I'm excited for the new GM, the coach that we're gonna hire. It's gonna be a long process, but I honestly don't think it's that long. We have some pieces, and we have the assets, meaning all of our picks and a lot of free agent money to turn this around. We don't need to wait 5-10 years for this. But let me know in the comments, how did you find the press conference? How do you think Bryson is going to work out? I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.